The year was 2021. The pandemic had taken hold. Classrooms, places of work, worship, and stadiums lay empty. The streets to waste. Yet in the midst of all this chaos, our two heroes, Wilson and GRJDwyer, found something. And now, as the millions flee major cities, the Galactic Microsoft Corporation forever hunts their shadow, relentlessly pursuing under the command of Master Gates. Little do they know, a mystery ally is en route to help on a super sweet electronic motorcycle. Now, as the world burns in fear and panic, the virus takes its hold, and the NUA are on the run. By boat, plane, train, and automobile, they desperately try to escape. Into hiding they must go. Bill Gates and his legion of deadly assassins not far behind. Little do both sides know that in the shadows, the mysterious cult of Archon gathers once more. Rumors of a gateway spread, fear of another dimension, whispers of a portal, legend of a hell point. So as season 2 of your favorite show begins, our noble knights have the fate of the galaxy in their hands. They just don't really kinda know it yet. For now, it's time for them to bitch about games, shitty movies, and nerd stuff. I've been Elon Musk. You're watching Northern Undead Asylum.
Welcome to Northern Undead Asylum. My name is Wilson Rabello, and to my left I have
GRJDwyer.
my Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen, whichever way you look at it. We want to welcome you back after the New Year and Christmas break. Hope you all had a good New Year and had a good Christmas break as best as you could in these unprecedented times. Apologies for using that word again. However, we will continue and I'll let Greg explain what we're doing.
First of all, you join us in a brand new location, one that is below sub-zero temperatures. We are actually freezing, so if our voice trembles throughout the show, and we're pretty sure you can see our breath. If you do want to send us any heaters in the post, or you do want to send us some money so we can buy some extra clothing, it would be much appreciated. Now, we lead.
This week in gaming news.
Leakers have released Elden Ring info to the public, announcing that the game has a map. A new PlayStation 5 delivery is imminent to Europe, prompting truck drivers and avid fans to cause a mass backup at the English-France border. Boris Johnson announced the third lockdown. Unbeknownst to the public, it is in a bid to find Michael Gove's fruit tree in Animal Crossing.
While Boris has many talents and attributes, he wasn't capable of building that team. And there were a number of people who had said to me during the course of the week, Michael, it should be you. I reflected on those comments, I reflected on the individuals who'd made that case, and I came last night.
Cyberpunk2077's player base has dropped to unprecedented levels this week. The announcement of the DLC prompted one additional sale to the Steam store.
Hey Techno Viking, Cyberpunk refund has arrived.
Ooh, this is very, very techno. What do you mean they will delete game from library? Thieves! Hey guys, we finally bought Assassin's Creed Valhalla! Cyberpunk is garbage. Gonna be a Viking. Ubisoft making a motherfucking Far West with techno Viking. Techno Viking.
And that is this week's gaming news. So, of course, it's my introduction this week. I will pose our classic question to you, G. What have you been playing over the Christmas period? You thought I was going to say week. Christmas period. Oh.
It's been 84 years.
I think we need to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, so
Rude.
I come at this from two different angles. One is from the base PlayStation 4 version, which I have almost completed, and a short stint on the PC version, which I've played.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Now, the PlayStation 4 version...
Can I add a footnote here really
You
quick?
can.
It was built for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Right, carry on.
I'm sure it is very public knowledge that this game is not best played on the PlayStation 4 version. My time in Night City has been one that has been full of crashes, full of bugs, texture pops, and unrealistic gameplay throughout. The combat system is fundamentally flawed. There isn't an awful lot to do in Night City, and I think, unfortunately for CDPR, this is a big L.
That was the thing that most shocked me.
Yep.
I'm yet to play it, which I'm kind of glad about, but everything I've heard from very good sources has made me feel quite comfortable. I've not played it, but the thing that shocked me the most was that there's nothing to do in the city. I expected every corner, every orifice, gambling, GTA San Andreas, which you could
from the PlayStation 2 was that?
You could do at least 20 activities in.
I think from the ground up, what an RPG is what this misses. What is missing from this game. That sort of world that is built around a main quest or storyline that in most RPGs isn't that great.
Yeah.
You look at Skyrim. Is the main quest amazing? It's alright. It's quite a good story. You look at sort of Fallout and things like that. It's always about the sort of the world building around it and things that go into it. And it just doesn't exist in this game. It just doesn't. It feels so empty. It feels so hollow that it's almost like a linear quest system to try and push you towards finishing the game. And I do believe that is something that CDPR wanted to do. They did want you to finish the game because a lot of the player base dropped off The Witcher 3, for example, which I absolutely adore and spent
one of the
hours and hours.
On
One of the
last
greatest,
generation.
Absolutely, and we take nothing away from the developers themselves, but it feels so short. It feels so short-lived, and you're not invested in your own character, which is, we were told there would be 3 separate entities to. There'd be there'd be a street kid, a corpo, and a nomad. They make very little difference to the game style. Once you've unlocked all the sort of skills trees, a lot of which is not, again, I sound like I'm being overly negative here. They don't have much effect to the player. I mean, quite early on in the game, I picked up a gun, and that was my gun pretty much throughout. It was a pistol that absolutely annihilated everybody that was in there. It was vastly more powerful than anything that I had. Some of the things that you would expect to be an integral part of the game, such as getting a car, modding it, whatever. I mean, cars are almost unobtainable if you accidentally put a skill tree up where it basically dismantles all the trash or junk that you find. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work as a game. My biggest bugbear with it was the combat. Having played games like Dishonored or played games like Deus Ex or even Fallout, where there's like a different where you shoot people in different places. It makes them, it's kind of a cool little mechanic.
But
this just doesn't exist. The AI is terrible.
That's
like
another
laughable,
thing.
like the AI. They are, and I just found myself bundling through each mission where nothing seemed to have any gravity if I just blasted my way through it.
Yeah.
It seemed almost like quicker just to do it.
Yeah.
Just blast my way through it, throw a couple of grenades, hit some guys, and away you'd be done. It's not a finished game. I sincerely hope that CDPR pull it round and that we get a better Cyberpunk in the coming months and years, of which I will definitely replay because I'm a big sort of Blade Runner fan. I wanted to see that sort of game. It just doesn't encapsulate any of that atmosphere or anything with it, and I'm bitterly disappointed by it. The PC version obviously looks better, runs a little bit better, but still misses all the fundamentals of being an RPG.
Do you think it was a struggle for CDPR to create a first-person game from the ground up? So it fundamentally can't be a third-person game. Which, if anyone's seen the third-person mod, it is horrific. It's so bad. The sliding. So I've not played the game, but there's a button that you can slide,
like a Call of Duty thing.
Slide
under something.
And I think you just
get behind cover.
Some person has basically taken the game and pulled it into a third-person view.
Yeah.
The way that the character moves in third person, it's just shocking. I can understand that though, because they said they built it from the ground up as a first-person game. Do you think the transition of that has been struggling at all?
I don't think so. I think the actual first-person aspect of it does work well. I think it can be quite engrossing to be in a first-person perspective. I do like a lot of the games that are in first-person. I would probably play Skyrim or Fallout in first-person, and I love first-person shooters. When I compare any sort of the mechanics like that, sort of I'm a big fan of sort of Battlefield and things like that. It's just lost. It is lost. It is. They've lost. They don't know. I don't think that the developers took into consideration the direction that they wanted to take this game. I think that they concentrated so much on the world building. Yeah. So not even the world building, the aesthetics of it. Yeah. How great it looked. That so much.
It does look great.
It looks fantastic in parts. Maybe not on PlayStation 4, but it doesn't transition well. But it doesn't. It feels to me that like CDPR basically got after The Witcher 3, sat down and said, we want to make this. We want to make this game that is going to be, basically a leader for RPGs going into the next generation. I think it should have been purposely built for the next generation. It would have been more impressive. What happened is that it looks like a big team of people sat down, maybe not CDPR, but the investors above them, and said, this is what we like from other games. So they've gone Arkham series did really well. We really like the detective mode in it. So there's a bit where if you play the game, it's called a brain dance, and it's very, very similar. That's probably the bit that it does the best bit. But then they've looked at Dishonored, they've looked at Fallout, they've looked at maybe even Skyrim in sort of the quest model in it, but don't seem to have looked at the one game that people would have compared it to, which is Grand Theft Auto, right? And employed those systems from each one of those games, yet not done it better. Not done it anywhere near close to what they should have done. It's not as if you go away and you play Deus Ex, that is fundamentally a better combat game. If you go and play Fallout, it's miles better in RPG format. You go and play Skyrim, it's a better quest system in the way it's laid out. If you go and play Batman, it's a better tree. Like the tree is almost identical to the way that Batman is played out, but none of it works.
What I don't understand is though, how could they cock up the AI that bad? Because if you take Grand Theft Auto 5 from 2013, you take The Witcher 3. I mean, I can't remember the AI ever causing any problems during that game. They all did.
Kind of what they did.
The role. They played the role in the game, didn't they?
Do you know what I mean? Where you I think there's a great mission where you go to some guy's house and there's like a circular. I can't remember. It's like a baron's house and he's got like a circle thing that's around it. And you can either take the option to go in sort of stealthily, or you can go in all swords blazing, so to speak, and it works well. What they concentrated on doing is not the AI, but the NPCs in the game. They tried so hard to make them sort of lifelike, and the textures pop up. Like the textures look great, and you're sewing like sort of. There's a player called Jaffe, and there's a Nerine, and they're all great characters, and the kind of people that populate the world are pretty good. but the actual enemies are awful.
Yeah.
Awful. You know, the police system in it is archaic.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a police system employed on Grand Theft Auto 1 on the PlayStation 1.
But it seems
where
better.
If you shoot
they
somebody,
appear out of nowhere, don't they?
well, if you shoot somebody on Grand Theft Auto 1 on the PlayStation 1, an ambulance turns up, and then a police car turns up, and then if you try and run, the police car chases you. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. The police come up out of nowhere. They surround you completely and will shoot you dead within seconds.
I believe all you need to do is flee down the road.
If you get wrapped around one block, you're done. They literally don't chase you in a car or anything. Imagine, I mean, that game could have been great if it employed, just police chases. Because I thought that we were going to be flying around in cars.
Yeah.
And we're not. We're in cars that are, basically
standard cars.
Yeah, looks like a DeLorean or it's just a little bit modded. And for something that's supposed to be a vision of the future,
it
looks pretty
strange.
bleak, man.
Yeah,
it looks pretty bleak. Trains don't exist in the future, by the way.
They got rid of the train, didn't they? They had a train and then got rid of it. It's funny you say that. If they would have just looked at the sort of the method and the blueprint that Grand Theft Auto was laid down over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 installments in the Grand Theft Auto series, then God knows what game it could have been.
I don't think anybody would have begrudged them that,
I think not at all. I kind of expected a first-person Grand Theft Auto with the Witcher 3 RPG elements in it.
I certainly don't think Rockstar would have begrudged them either.
No, not at all.
Surely that game is influential now. Look at the amount of people that are trying to take off Dark Souls, and you get all those Souls-like sort of games, but they still do elements of them well.
Yeah,
don't make any sense to me. Anyway,
bizarre.
We move on. What have you been playing this week?
I went down memory lane, I suppose you could say.
Okay.
So last year I completed Resident Evil 2 around about the summer, I think.
Exceptional.
Absolutely loved it. Again, we've just mentioned what blueprints are, and that is a blueprint of how a remake should be made.
Yeah.
They caught everything that made the Resident Evil series amazing. The puzzles and the way that they laid the police department out, and the fact that Mr. X, if you caused something for him to chase you, he would turn up and he would honestly make your life so difficult. It was amazing.
It was.
For some reason, I never carried on with the second run.
Okay.
So,
Same actually.
Yeah.
Same actually, both.
I started it. I probably played like 20 minutes and then I put it down.
Yeah.
So I got Resident Evil 3. And I was expecting more of the same, and you kind of do get that. It is a little bit more of the same. Now, anyone who's played Resident Evil 3 will remember all the puzzles and all the locations where it was, just like the police department. You went from point A to point B to point C, and every one was a huge map where you had to get the keys and get the puzzles and get the jewels, and that was the best part about it. And also facing the plethora of monsters that were around. Resident Evil 3 is an action game, but not in the sense that Resident Evil 6 is an action game, because they kind of, after 4, they kind of took it into a whole different dimension, didn't they? Do
you think that it's going to be like a natural progression into 4? Because 4 has but a little bit of elements of both.
I mean, the weirdest thing about it is it's an amazing game. It's blink and you'll miss it. That's the biggest issue, really.
They concentrated quite a lot on the online version of it as well.
I suppose Resistance is a big part of it, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm not the biggest online gamer. Okay. I'm a single player campaign gamer. And it wasn't bad. I enjoyed every moment of it. I enjoyed all the locations. I enjoyed 95% of the boss fights. There was just one that was a bit iffy, but it wasn't that bad. I couldn't have. The only complaint I have about the game is that I completed it in 6.5 hours on my first playthrough.
Wow.
Your first playthrough normally takes an extra 2, 3. Well, if you're on Dark Souls, 17 hours. What are you doing, Greg? I'm just doing laps around Cathedral Wall.
Well, I
see how many steps.
We should do. Let's see how quick Greg can complete Resident Evil 3.
Honestly, it'd be so quick.
I don't think it will be.
It's
how long did it take? How many saves did you do in Resident Evil 2?
Lots and lots
I
of
did
saves.
118.
Oh my god, I think I did. Do you know what? I actually know this because what I was going back to is I've carried on. I've just completed Claire's second run.
You've completed it, right?
Well, I've completed it. I'm literally at the the end boss fight with. I don't actually know who I'm fighting. Is it the tyrant that you fight with Claire?
Yes.
On the second run, I don't know anyway.
So, yeah.
I'm there anyway. I've just
Kinda
done all
survives,
the Nest laboratory stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to tell you. But
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it kind of went full circle to give me a better reflection of what Resident Evil 3 was.
Yes.
It's a different game. It's a different genre.
Cool.
But it's not necessarily a bad reason. I just feel like there was areas like I've mentioned in the stuff that we've got coming up. We've got other videos, haven't we, coming up? I've mentioned a lot of this in my Resident Evil 3 breakdown, but there's areas like the clock tower and the graveyard. Now, the graveyard is probably one of the most iconic places in Resident Evil 3.
Yeah.
Where you eventually fought the gravedigger boss.
Just come here. Just carry on.
Boobies,
no, I was just looking at that.
Which is an iconic boss fight, absolutely terrifying, and it not necessarily the boss needed to be in there, but there was some good chunks of the game that if they were in there, it would have been a complete experience.
Cool.
I don't feel gypped at all.
Right.
I'm happy with what I paid.
Okay.
But it was a little bit like, what is the credits already?
Right, get you.
So,
there's much replayability in it?
Obviously, there's no new game plus.
Okay.
Which I thought was quite bizarre. Now, the only thing, I actually did start a new game straight away because that literally I craved more immediately.
Yeah.
So I started a new player on hardcore and I got killed straight away. I was like, CBA.
I went back to Resident Evil 2.
I'm a standard guy. Standard difficulty. If there's a medium difficulty, I'm playing on it.
Yeah. So what have we kind of delve in and out of different mediums. What have you watched over the Christmas period? I think everybody's kind of had a bit of downtime, haven't they? And they've had an opportunity to kind of go back and watch some of those series that they may have missed the first time round. Yeah. What have you watched?
2 TV series come to mind immediately. Okay. I didn't mention this other one to you before, but it's just hit me like a light bulb moment. It's called The Wilds, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Right.
10 episodes. And at first, it just looked like Hollywood tried cheesy acting, poor acting, about these 6 girls that are in a plane crash and they get stranded on this island. Anyway,
Lost.
Turns out that this island is an experiment by this woman who is trying to prove to the government that women can be in control. Women have the power to do everything that men do better.
Right.
So
sorry,
it basically,
New Zealand fans there, that wasn't a dig. It was just
basically they're on this island and they're being secretly filmed.
Right.
And it's about how they operate together in a life or death situation.
Right.
And then the woman is going to take the footage to the government and say, look how women dealt with this situation. We've chosen all these women from different parts of the country in America who have got different ways of thinking, and we've shown that they can work together, and this is why women should be in charge and not men.
Okay.
I won't go into it anymore, but by the 10th episode, the cliffhanger at the end is just sublime.
So there's going to be a second series? There's
going to be a second series. If there's not, it's like Flash Forward always all over again. Did everyone ever watch Flash Forward in the 2000s?
I don't think I did.
It was brilliant, and they left on the biggest cliffhanger.
And it never got a second series.
And they cancelled it because not enough people watched it. I could still kill the people who did that. Flash Forward season 2, make it. Anyway, yes, and also because we're in an extended period of lockdown, unfortunately. Again, this is a meter, by the way.
Yes.
We decided to watch a very, very long series and see how long it takes us to get bored. So we're watching Sons of Anarchy.
Great series.
Never seen it before.
Great series. Absolutely super.
Pretty good.
Series.
I like to see a Scottish guy in there as well.
A lot to like. A lot of characters that you see popping up in other series.
Yeah. It reminds me of The Sopranos a little, not in the way that it's anything like The Sopranos, but there's that many characters, and it's got that traditional, like I call it the golden age of TV in America, where you've got The Wire, Sopranos, Breaking Bad's a little bit later, but it's still carried on the torch of that golden era.
That grounded sort of glitzy sort of series.
It follows that, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So that's me. What about you?
Well, I've been watching The Mandalorian. Obviously, the Mandalorian dropped in sort of late November and kind of wrapped up in December. Fantastic, absolutely has brought me back to my youth.
Yeah.
Well written, well directed, great costumes, great art direction. Fantastic ride. No spoilers, but you know there was a moment at the end that I think I did jump for joy. Bringing back a lot of my favourite characters from the Star Wars
nice.
sort of universe, and off we go into Series 4 next.
What,
Series 3? Sorry,
I was gonna
Series 3.
say, yeah.
Series 3 next, and no, I think it is Series.
The season 2 will have just been
Series
come
3.
out. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Big Star Wars fan, obviously. I don't even know what season. I do watch that much Star Wars, sort of thing. But it was fantastic. Some great new additions. Some characters left us. Cannot praise it enough. Dave Filoni is doing a great job, as is Jon Favreau.
Excellent. Better than season 1?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm absolutely convinced we're on the 3rd season, you know. But it might only be the 2nd, but I'm absolutely convinced we're on the 3rd season.
It's definitely season 3.
I think it is season 3.
No, it's definitely season 3 that's next. Season 2 just came out. I could swear.
Right, well, do you know what? In the comments, start commenting.
Comment!
And we'll you can slag me off as the worst Star Wars fan in the in a galaxy far, far away.
No, the official Greg mentions Star Wars counter is at least on like 37 on episode 7.
Never mind, but yeah, it was great. It was really good. You know, I don't need to go into it. If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you have watched it, then I'm sure you'll join me in my joy.
Excellent.
Okay, so one of the things that I added the last time that we came here was my little love for comics. And I know that you may be doing the same with sort of books and things. I'd just like to give a brief mention to the new DC comics, which is the Futurescape ones, where there is a new Batman.
Right, okay.
Really not interesting twist. It's not Ben Affleck. It is not Ben Affleck. Thank God. It's a good twist. If you've not picked them up yet, they've just come out this week, which is the what we're on now, the 7th of January. They've just come out this week. There's a new Batman and a new Superman, which take both these long-established and long-running characters into new universes, and those new universes are in the near future. I've read them both. Both of them don't have as many texture pops, don't have any bugs, and don't have any crashes, and are set a few years into the future. There's a good social commentary in there. The characters that they've brought in are familiar, but brand new, and the Batman that they have put in place I absolutely love, and I think it's going to be a great thing for the Batman series. It takes it in a superb direction. It was for me it was a little bit. It was getting to a little bit point where it was a little bit old.
Right.
It kind of, we'd done Batman Beyond, and we'd done Dick Grayson, and we'd done The Dark Knight and The Darker Knight, and it's
The Darker Knight. What is that? The Darkest Night.
He's like he gets super old, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
He gets old.
It's really funny.
But it's it's a good thing. We'd have Batwoman, Batgirl, Batcat, and all that, and now we've got this Fat Bat, and now we've got this new, really solid addition to the Batman series, which is it kind of pushes it along a little bit, and it's a good thing. Both out now on if you want to pick them up at your local comic store, or you can do what I do and get them on Comixology, where you can read things on the go.
Nice.
That's me for what I've been reading this week.
Just to mention Comics Corner, which I'll now jam into Comics and Books Corner.
Yeah.
I've just bought Frank Herbert's Dune.
Perfect.
Which apparently is the OG sci-fi.
The quintessential
OG sci-fi.
Yep.
Comes highly rated. I thought I would squeeze it in before the Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. I don't think you can squeeze Dune in.
Well, it recently came, and I got Flea's autobiography Acid for the Children with it.
Wicked.
And I got it out, I was like, Jesus, that's a bit thick for an autobiography.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's a book.
Does he mention me in it?
I hope so. Does it?
Apparently about page 377, he says that he met me at Manchester City Stadium when he was supporting when James Brown was supporting him at the City Manchester Stadium. He says there's this lovely guy called GRJDwyer who told me all about his Dark Souls podcast, which was kind of morphed into New in Gaming.
In about 12 years, I'm gonna make a Dark Souls podcast.
That's how it came up, and then they wrote a great album in order of me called Californication.
Nice.
Check it out. It's all about me.
Yeah.
But it's GRJDwyer. The J
GRJ Californication Dwyer.
The J stands for California.
So I think that wraps up today's episode.
It does. A little bit shorter episodes. These times they're still clocking in at a good half an hour, but we're trying to condense these down so that we can get more content out to you guys. We've got more in the way of in the way that we're kind of spreading things out now. We're going to incorporate reviews, retrospective reviews actually of games that we've played, and a little bit more. We're sidestepping a little bit from the core of Dark Souls as we gear up for Elden Ring. But yeah, we're taking a little bit of a break from the sort of the Dark Souls thing, and so we're just going to incorporate a few more games and a bit more of our influences and what we like to do. We hope you enjoy it. As always, like and subscribe and comment below.
He in the know has the nose.
Until next time.